Look, we're all guilty of running out of time and not getting the one big thing that we meant to do today done. But if you find yourself in a cycle of continuously putting off the big thing that is going to have a major positive effect on your life, and you continuously put it off for another day, then there may be some things underneath the surface that needs addressing. And today I'm going to tell you the 3 questions that you need to ask yourself if you are stuck in this loop. I'm Maddie Wolf. Welcome to the channel. If you are new here, I release videos like this all the time with tips and tricks and strategies that are all designed to help you get unstuck from where you're at and living the best life. So from motivation techniques to mindset orientation to finding a sense of calm to reducing anxiety, check out the channel because there are strategies that help a huge range of processes that you may be going through right now. But today, what I really want to talk about is that cycle that we get into when we are putting off something. And it could be something that we just know we should do. It could even be something that actually we care very much about, something that we feel very strongly about accomplishing. And if you are in that place where there's this thing that you're just not getting around to, first off, I want to say let's avoid labeling. Let's not go to that, oh, I'm just a big procrastinator situation, because when we label ourselves with these terms, we're kind of letting ourselves off the hook. Like, no, that's just a part of me. I procrastinate. Well, okay, maybe in this case you are procrastinating. Maybe in the past you've procrastinated, but we don't need to live and die by our labels. And in fact, if you are putting off something that could have a life-changing positive effect on you, or could just make life a lot easier or nicer or more pleasant for you or someone around you, then hiding behind the label of being a procrastinator doesn't really shift the dial, and in fact could make you stay in that place longer than you need to. So that's kind of the first thing I want to say is let's just park those labels and let's get to the heart of what's actually going on. So when we are not doing something that we know we want to do or should do, we need to ask ourselves 3 questions just to start discovering why we're not doing it. Because often there is a lot going on below the surface that needs to be figured out. The first question you need to ask is this thing that I'm not doing in conflict with my core values? Let me give you a quick example, but I'm sure you can take an example from your own life too. Say someone is putting off buying tickets for a flight and they've planned this trip with their partner and they know it's coming up and actually there's a seat sale on, so they know they should do it now sooner rather than later so they can get the best deal. But for some reason, this person just keeps putting it off. Well, if they dig a little bit deeper and go, is there a core value here that is preventing me from booking these flights? Do these flights actually represent something that I'm conflicted with? Like maybe in this example, the person has decided to go on this trip with their partner and actually there's something going on in that relationship and there's a feeling like maybe this is not the best thing to be doing. Maybe my core values are saying that actually we have some issues to discuss before we go on this big trip. Maybe I'm not just procrastinating. Maybe my core value of trust and humanity and humility and all of the things that make a relationship work, well, maybe they're being conflicted by me booking this flights, right? You've got to ask yourself, where are these conflicts coming from? And what is the reason for not doing the thing? In what way could it be conflicting with something that you care very deeply of? And if we don't ask those questions and dig deeper, then 2 things could happen. One, we could just keep putting it off until it is too late, and then that backfires on us. Or number 2, you could end up pushing yourself to do something that actually you're procrastinating or you're stopping yourself from doing it was protecting you or protecting your core values in some way. So it's really important that you get to the bottom of that so that you can either resolve that conflict or recognize that your reason for not doing the thing is valid and needs to be listened to and needs to be validated. The number 2 question that you need to ask yourself is, are you putting off doing this thing because of a fear of failure? We know that when we take bold chances or when we go after opportunities, we have to summon our courage and try, even if we feel that we could fail. And it's the going after things and pursuing things that makes us stronger and makes us more courageous and actually is the stuff of life, right? But if it is daunting or if it is challenging, we could be hiding behind going after it. We could be stopping ourselves from pursuing it because the thought that we might not be able to rise to that challenge is too much. And it's safer to not do the thing and to keep putting it off. And there's this little gremlin inside of you maybe saying, actually, if we put it off long enough, then the opportunity will go away and we won't have to face those fears of failure. So for example, if you're putting off applying for a job, there's a lot of fear that can be associated with going after something new, with putting yourself out there, right? Same thing with if you're putting off asking someone out on a date, you're putting yourself out there when you make that bold move. And by putting it off, by not doing it, by not finding the time, by being too busy, by not finding the right opportunity to do it, you're protecting yourself from the possibility of failure. So it can feel safe. But what we need to do when we ask that question is confront that we are afraid and validate the feeling of being afraid, and then find the ways, use the resources, build the toolbox so that we can overcome that fear and go after the opportunity anyway. But we won't give ourselves the chance to be brave if we don't understand that the fear of failure is what is holding us back from going after something. The number 3 question that you want to ask yourself here is it a fear of success? Now, this is something we don't talk about as much, although the conversations are starting to happen more and more. But a fear of success is real and legitimate and needs to be understood. You could be stopping yourself from going after an opportunity or taking on something new because the idea of it working out and of things shifting and changing in your life because of the success of going after something, that could be paralyzing you and keeping you where you are and stopping you from doing the thing that you know you should do. Because by being successful, you may have to redefine the version of yourself that you've been living with for a long time. See, we get really comfy in our own personal narratives. And sometimes success is just as hard, if not harder, to deal with than failure or missed opportunities. Success sometimes means that we have to overcome the image of ourselves that we've now outgrown. You know, those narratives that we keep saying to ourselves of not being good enough. Well, what if those are now going to be left in the past because we've proven to ourselves we are good enough? That's what the fear of success looks like. And it could be at the root cause of you not doing something. So this simple idea of putting something off day after day after day, let's stop calling it procrastination. Let's start figuring out what is actually at the root cause of it. Is it because it is conflicting somehow in your core values? Or is it because of a fear of failure? Or is it because of a fear of success? Dig deep. And when you've come up with the answer, don't stop there. That's when you get your key, right? Because finding the answer, understanding what it is that's stopping you is just the beginning of the journey, because now you can go about solving that issue for yourself, finding the resolution of that inner conflict with your core values, or overcoming your fear of failure, or making peace with the idea of success. So once you've asked the questions and you've got the answer, that's where the adventure really begins. If you've enjoyed the video today, do make sure to subscribe, check out some of the other videos on the channel, and do make sure you look at the description box below, because I have stuffed it full of some free resources that are all designed to help you get to living your best life, because that's what this is all about. I'll see you again real soon.